I don't know, guys. Do you think this is too clickbaity? Is this too much? Is it over the top? I never can tell. I get this pushback sometimes that my titles can be, clickbaity and over the top and all caps, and I just was never sure. Okay, is a T-Rex too much? I just wanted to start here. This is actually from a place called Amron, American Redoubt Radio Operators Network. American Preparedness Radio Network. It's always a good idea to have backup communication. And this is where I wanted to start today. Communication at the local level, amongst your local group, your survival group, whoever that is key. And not having any levels of misunderstanding is key. Most folks would agree with this image. To have a group of people that all are on the same sheet of music, all understand what the goal is. Everybody has a role. Everybody plays a role. All my military guys out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unit first. It's very, very important that we don't let the minutia of words that sometimes can have dual meanings divide us. Because the folks in the media would love to do that. They would love to find a way to tear us apart. There's all sorts of stages that groups and units, military units, go through. And this is always kind of a handy chart to have. That's why I brought it up. That there's going to be up and down, but if everybody can get on the same sheet of music, and everybody can understand what words mean, and everybody has the same idea of what that word means, then you can go forward. Now, sometimes working together doesn't always turn out like we thought it would, but I would like to share an article with you today. People hear about what's going on in Venezuela from the mainstream media, and they use the big evil S word, socialism. Down here it means something different. And in this particular article, you would think you were listening to, if they took these words out here, you were listening to what some preppers would be planning. Because literally this is exactly what preppers have been planning for 20 or 25 years, and the way they're going about it here is exactly how you would. This article talks about a meeting of commune leaders. Now you think communist, oh no, these are prepper groups. Present were representatives from 74 communes from numerous different regions of the country, including Lara, Apure, Barinas, Táchira, Mérida, Yaracuy, Falcón, Carabobo, and Caracas. The initiative was organized independently from the national government. You see, down here they have a law that if someone owns a bunch of land and they're not using it for anything and there is a need and a use for that land, that community can come in and say, okay, you know what? We're going to give you an opportunity. We would like you to work with us to use this land for this to better the community, but if not, they can expropriate it. Because this is what the jujubes were doing when big oil came in. All of the labor that left the fields back in the 50s and 60s and started living in suburbs and living in cities and lost the ability to feed themselves. It's one of the big questions I get. Why can't they feed themselves with all that oil? Well, they used to have agriculture. But the labor went away. And then people came in and bought up huge swaths of land and left it and didn't allow it to be developed back for agriculture again, because that kept Venezuela enslaved to imports of food and kept them on those rigs. And that's what they're trying to stop down there, and they're trying to build back up. This paragraph here, these two sentences here, I think would really stick with you. Communes are conglomerates of communal councils which were launched in response to initiative by ex-President Chavez to empower local communities and devolve power from the government to the people. This is what they're trying to do. What we think of socialism here is a cradle to grave, and your local government doing this and sending you a check for that, and looking at everything you do and controlling everything you do. Totally the opposite down here. This is where local, small, tiny communities and groups take control of a region despite the government and take it off the government's plate of things to do. And here he's talking about how if they don't work together, they're going to have a problem. And they need to all get on the same sheet of music and work together and understand that there's enemies out there that would love to divide them with little bitty things so that big government can swoop in. This is the problem we have in this country, is every time there's a disagreement about something, both on the left and the right, everybody goes running off to the federal government. Master's Cake Shop was the same thing. Master's Cake Shop led directly to the situation with Alex Jones. Directly to it. This is what we have to push back against. This idea that sometimes we get our way, sometimes we don't, but it's our decisions to make. We don't go run off to the federal government, take everything in the Supreme Court every chance we get. Whether it's gay marriage or whether it's abortion, it doesn't matter. They talk here about the fight against state bureaucracy and the transfer of power to the community. And things are getting better down there. They are coming back, and they are pumping more oil every single day, and the price is going up. I know you're not hearing this in the mainstream media from the U.S., but trust me, if it's not going one direction, it should be going the other, right? After 6 years of straight reporting that Venezuela was on the edge of collapse, where's the collapse? Where's the kaboom, as Marvin the Martian would say? They talk about this giant exodus. The country of Venezuela is growing at a faster rate than the United States is, as a percentage. And I always want to leave with a contrast, because this is what our government in 2015 said presented an extraordinary threat to the United States. And the current government agrees with that and has ratcheted up sanctions and has made it literally impossible for Venezuela to participate in the world community. Yet we have this. Right next door. In a press statement, the prosecution said that 13 former Chiquita executives, including 3 Americans, 1 Costa Rican, and 1 Honduran, for mass killings by paramilitary groups that took place between 1997 and 2004, will be expected in court to respond to terrorism support charges. Para-economics, largely led by the guy who put the current president down there in power. The AUC paramilitaries received $1.7 million from Chiquita between 1997 and 2004. 4,300 homicides, 1,300 forced disappearances, and 1,600 forced displacements. And this isn't the left wing, this is the right wing paramilitaries down there doing this. Former President Alvaro Uribe, the mentor of Ivan Duque, the current president, signed off on the front companies used by Chiquita's paramilitary groups when he was governor of Antioquia in between 1995 and 98. 60 congressmen and 7 former governments have already, I think governors they meant to say there, have already been sent to prison for using death squads for political gain. Why is this country not being sanctioned? Why is this country getting our money? And why does this not make them an extraordinary threat? I don't get this. And this is the contrast. We have one country that has problems largely attributed to other things that we've covered that's trying to stand up and do things much like the folks in my audience would want to do, would like to see their lives run. And they're labeled an enemy. And this country that is primarily responsible for the drug problem in this country, generally speaking, is a recipient of accolades and assistance and money, and it's just a strange paradigm to speak with my audience and see that the things that they believe and the things that they value are literally right in line with people that they think are their enemies, which isn't the case. So we will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support. The channel is doing great. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.